Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Hello everyone, welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I am Tristan Harlen, ASU-TV sports producer, filling in for Jonathan Reeves this week. Arkansas State Vice Chancellor for Intercollegiate Athletics, Jeff Purinton, announced on August 16th of 2023 the hire of Sujay Lama, the school's 8th head women's tennis coach. Lama brings 28 years of collegiate coaching experience to A-State after most recently serving as head coach at North Texas the past 17 seasons. His team has won 195 dual matches at UNT, and he has 304 overall victories in his head coaching career. That includes 8 seasons at Illinois. He has coached teams to 8 NCAA tournament appearances as well as 7 NCAA individual tournament appearances. We welcome A-State tennis coach Sujay Lama to A-State Connections. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Tristan. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I know you've coached all around the world. You know, you talked before we went live on air about coaching in Japan. So how did all of that lead you to Arkansas State University?
It's a long story, but again, it's my passion. You know, I played at a high level. Loved the game of tennis, and then I got into coaching after college. And at first I was traveling on the tour all over the world, you know, did 14 Grand Slams, but, you know, something was missing, and that was really the team concept. I love, you know, being part of a team and working together. And then the college job is like the perfect job for me because I get a chance to really nurture the players that they come as a freshman, and then they go all the way for 4 years, and then, you know, we try to get them to be really great students, great tennis players, but most importantly, great people ready for life. So it's been a blessing, and yeah, I've enjoyed, you know, all 28 years of college coaching, and I call myself a blessed man.
Right. So what is it about coaching that gets you out of bed every morning?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I love the competitive aspect also. You know, you're always trying to get 1% better every single day, and then, you know, you work, you know, every single day, all those details, putting things together, you know, bringing people together for one common purpose. And then nothing like competition. The game day is my favorite day. I mean, it's when you want to try to find an edge over your opponent, and you try to overcome all those adversities that go through the match, and you know, try to come out on top. And I think the whole idea of, you know, to being the best that you can be, that's what coaching is all about. You're trying everything to be the best that you can be.
Right. So you had stints at North Texas, Illinois, and even some global stints around the world. So what is it about those appearances and those experiences that has prepared you most for Arkansas State?
Well, you know, I think that the biggest thing is that, you know, when you have a chance to like build programs. So when I went to Illinois, it was ranked 75 in the country, and I brought it all the way from 75 to top 16 in the country. And same thing at UNT, it was like 360. It was a lost program. I mean, my first season, we lost 19 matches in a row. I had 5 walk-ons on my team, but then 3 years later, we were winning championships. And so for me, I think that every stop, I have learned something new. And I think the biggest thing is, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people, you know, and making sure that we have the resources, and then, you know, building a program based on talent, but also high character and high academic standards. And that's what I'm so proud of, is that every team of mine, they have excelled on the court, but also off the court. Like just this year, I challenged them last semester to have a 3.70 GPA as a team. Guess what? At the end of the fall, Tristan, 3.72. So this semester, the goal is 4.0. I mean, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's excellence, you know, shooting for excellence, and it's a culture of, you know, growth and competitiveness.
Right. So just looking at when you got to Arkansas State in August, you know, we talked a little bit, and you kind of called it a late start a little bit. So what are some of the advantages and disadvantages for that for you as a head coach?
Well, I mean, I think the key is, the time, right? I mean, for recruiting. But luckily, I was able to hire a really good assistant right off the bat. And, we both, were able to like really attack, number one, recruit the ones that were here in the team itself. Because if we make them happy, if we make them the best that they can be, if we make them the ambassadors for us, they were going to help us with the recruiting. So, yeah, it was a little bit of, last minute now, like, let's go after recruits, because we had 2 spots for the spring, and then we had 3 spots for the fall. And so, but, everything kind of like came together. It's one of those things where you go, wow, what's happening here? Things are just like rolling, getting one of those kids for January was Anna Grigorieva. She was ranked 207 in the world. I mean, she could have gone to just about any program in the country, and somehow, we got on her, and finally, when she signed with us, now we could show something, right? And then the other kids were like, hey, if Anna, who is 200 in the world, comes here, why not us? And so, it's just been on a roll.
Right. So, as we mentioned, you had a lot of stints almost at every continent in the world. What is maybe one defining moment that you've sat down and said, okay, this defines me as a coach?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think I'll go back. I'll go way back in my playing days. I had actually, after 10th grade, quit, going to school because I want to be a professional player. And I worked hard. I was in Germany training, and I became top 50 in the world in juniors. And then I was about to go to Wimbledon, to play Wimbledon. And there was literally like 7 days left, and we were training, and I hurt myself. I hurt my knee, and I had an infection, and I never could go to Wimbledon. And it was devastating, and at that time, obviously, it was the end of the world for me. But now, reflecting back, I look at it as a tremendous blessing in disguise. Because of that, I got a chance to come to this amazing country, the greatest country in the world, on a scholarship and get an education. And because of that, I got a chance to do what I love to do, be a coach. And so I think what I learned is that, it's all about resilience as a tennis player, as is also in life, to be resilient. And I think, that's what I am. I'm a symbol of resilience, and that's what I try to teach my players, is to be resilient. When things are tough, you can be really tougher.
Right. So, out of any sport in the world, why the game of tennis?
My goodness. Well, number one, I mean, I grew up in a family that absolutely, played tennis, and my dad was a pioneer of tennis in Nepal, and he actually built tennis courts. So we actually, growing up, had 5 tennis courts to play, and then my role models were my brothers and sisters. They all became national champions. But, later on, I mean, I think the game of tennis is such a beautiful sport. It's for every age, I remember giving a lesson to a lady in Germany who was like 85 years old, and so this is a sport that you can play at all ages, but also this is a very challenging sport. I mean, it's all about technique. It's about, the physicality, and then it's a mental game, right? And so it's a total combination, and you're by yourself out there. You got to figure out, you have to problem solve. And it's such a wonderful sport because there's so many skills that are needed to be successful.
Right. So just looking at your coaching career, what would you say are some of your core values as a head coach?
Well, I think that mostly, what I call my coaching style is like from the inside out. I believe in going inside and then producing the athletes to be the best that they can be. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. I'm not about extrinsic motivation. It's like, how can I give my players that inner feeling of giving their very, very best, and it's about high character, like defining yourself in difficult moments. And so I think I'm a very, very positive coach. I'm the kind of person that wakes up in the morning seeing the glass half full all the time, or full all the time, and I truly believe that it's a blessing to play college tennis, and it's a blessing to be a college coach. And so the way I look at it, it's like every single day, hey, go out there and have fun and be joyful about it.
Right. So looking at Jonesboro as a whole, not just at Arkansas State, but just the town of Jonesboro as a whole, Why should tennis mean more to some individuals that live here?
You know what? I'll tell you, Tristan, my first match over here, we had over 200 people, and there was like a standing room only at Trim Gym. 3 weeks ago, when we had our Family Fun Fest for the match against James Madison University, we had over 300 people. This community has really embraced us. They see the vibration. They see what's happening here with tennis. But what they will see in this team is this is an incredible, group of talented kids. It's only getting better, but they play at a very high level. I mean, this is a very, very skilled, group of ladies playing at high level. So when they come, they'll get hooked because they see some amazing tennis. But number two, they represent this university in a classy manner, both on the court, off the court. They are great ambassadors for Arkansas State University. And so why not us, right? Why not come over and support us? And guess what? We're just getting started. This is going to be an incredible program. We're going to be a force to be reckoned, not just in the conference, but hopefully in the nation too.
Right, and you talked about the community a little bit. How have you seen the community kind of impact your team?
Well, let me tell you, I have now in every home match, from different community, members out here, the tennis community, they have embraced us. Every, home match, they are there to support us, but also we've got people bringing, sponsoring barbecue. We had barbecue for 300 people. We have people bringing 20 boxes of pizzas this weekend. People that decorating, the club out there when our matches are, about to happen. And so, and then the directors of tennis here, the three clubs, giving us an opportunity to go out there and, play in their courts, whether it's practice, whether it's matches. So everybody coming together, making us feel really special, especially these ladies. It's such a beautiful thing. And so, I have been pleasantly surprised by that support that we've got here in Jonesboro.
Right, and support's a big thing in collegiate athletics. So who has maybe been, a supporting factor for you, especially when you made the move to Arkansas State?
Amy Holt, our SWA, and I have a long time relationship with Amy. She was a head coach at Division I level. She was the head coach at Kansas. And so I've known her since the time that she was a coach. To have somebody that I worked for who played D1 tennis, who coached D1 tennis is such a huge advantage, right? She understands exactly our needs, where we're coming from, and her support means the world to me.
Right, you mentioned that she coached at Kansas. Was there any time that you may have ran into her as an opposing head coach?
We never played against each other when she was the head coach, but we did run into each other in the NCAA tournament or in the regionals and things like that, yes.
So is it always been good to kind of catch up and talk about old-time memories with her?
Absolutely. And even, the last couple of years when I was at UNTA, and occasionally we would get, a phone call or a text, so we always kept in touch. She's just a good human being, besides being a great administrator, great SWA. She's just a good human being. She so cares for these ladies in our team. She wants this team to succeed, and it's so beautiful because she's all in.
Right. Well, joining me today on A-State Connections is A-State tennis coach Sujay Lama. We'll be right back after this.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Say experience counts, it's experience that counts for a lifetime.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it. was never an option.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections.
Welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Tristan Harlen. Joining me today on A-State Connections is A-State tennis coach Sujay Lama. Thanks for joining me on A-State Connections.
Absolutely a pleasure.
So we talked a lot about your history and kind of how you got to Jonesboro, but I want to talk about you as a person a little bit more. Who maybe, and I know we talked about your siblings, but who's maybe been that leading mentor to you in your career as a coach and maybe even as a player?
Absolutely. Well, I would say my oldest brother was one of them, but one of my true mentors was Dennis Vandermeer. He was one of the greatest coaches in the world. God bless his soul. I mean, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was a passionate coach that, loved the game and gave so much to everybody. And so, I looked up to him, his attention for detail, and the way he cared about his students. I think that's what I really respect him the most for.
Right. So when it's all said and done, when Coach Lama says goodbye to the game of tennis, at least as a coach, what do you want your legacy to be remembered as?
Hey, somebody who absolutely loved what he did, and that through tennis he tried to make a difference in people's life. Bring them a smile, bring them some happiness, give them some hope, inspiration, and then lift other people. Right? I mean, somebody that's lifted other people. I think that's my legacy. Hopefully.
Right. So coming from bigger schools like North Texas, Illinois, and even coming from around the country and around the globe, what is it about Jonesboro, outside the community, what is it about Jonesboro that sticks out to you as a person?
I think two things. I think number one, I think I love the slower paced life, and also I love nature. So I've seen some great, parts of Jonesboro and in Arkansas as a whole. But the other thing is that, I love it that everything is revolved around A-State, right? I mean, this is it. This is the big show. This is where everything's happening, and everybody is excited. The students, the faculty, the community, the people, they all are embracing. They all love A-State, and I think that's kind of nice because there's no other distractions but A-State.
Right. So it's kind of a, maybe a little bit of personal, a little bit of a tennis question, but on game days, you wake up in the morning. What's your routine look like, and how do you get ready for a game day?
Wow, game days, I typically tend to wake up like at 4 a.m. because I'm so ready to go. But no, I of course, walk my dogs, and typically if I do have a chance to go and do yoga, I do yoga or something physical for sure. I just want to make sure that all the tension's kind of out of my way, have my cup of tea, and then start, preparing mentally and preparing, how I'm going to, address the team, how I'm going to coach. I'm going to look into different scenarios, look at scouting report, and then just make sure that everybody that's around me, all my support staff are in the right place, doing the right things. And then, come game day, game time, I want to be a positive person. I want to be somebody when our kids are looking at me, they look at me and they get, inspired, and somebody that's going to, when they're struggling, that they can look up to me for inspiration and some hope and some more determination. So, I just love it. I love competing and I love problem solving even during the match. When there's difficulty, I'm trying to figure out what's the next strategy we can go to. What's plan B? What's plan C? Plan D? And when it all comes together, it's a beautiful thing.
Right. So you mentioned yoga. What kind of an impact has that made on you, maybe as a human, but also as a coach?
Game changer, right? I mean, it's life-changing for me. For me, obviously, it starts with the physicality. I mean, I am in the best shape of my life at this stage in my life, which is pretty amazing. But more importantly, what yoga has done is, it's also given me stability spiritually, and mentally, emotionally. I think it gives you a chance to have some mindfulness, and some meditation and reflection. And so every time, you step out of yoga, you have that last part is where you are in a pose where you're basically it's new beginning, right? And so every time you step out of that room, it's a new beginning. You let go of the past and you build in the new beginning. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because, you get a fresh start every single day.
Yeah. So, of course, you got a game coming up this weekend, Senior Day. What has those seniors on your squad meant to you just as under your first season?
Everything. Everything. These 3 seniors, they went through really, really tough times. I'm their 5th coach in 4 years. And so for them to embrace us, embrace my staff, and then for us to see them realize their potential, to see that they are like playing their best tennis of their career, for them to experience this joy and happiness to be back over there, and then to take pride in A-State tennis, to take pride in being part of this family. That's their legacy. They are the ones that are help me lay the foundation, right, of something that's going to be beautiful. And so hopefully, they will, look back and they will remember this moment and then think that, hey, it's been all worth all the tough times they had. But no, they mean everything, and they're just beautiful people.
Right. So what does the future look like in the Lama era of Arkansas State tennis?
Bright. We have an incredible recruiting class coming in the fall. We've already had a great commitment for 2025. Our schedule is going to get even tougher. So the future looks really bright. I hope that we have the opportunity to build something that is not just going to be great in the conference, but also nationally. Why not us becoming a top 50, top 25 team? Why not us at some stage getting to the Sweet 16s? So big plans, big vision, but more importantly, a program that's going to represent this university in a classy way, be great ambassadors, and do things that we've never done before.
So, of course, we've mentioned your background. We've mentioned almost everything that there is to talk about Coach Lama. But from coaching in Tokyo, Japan, to coaching at UNT, to Illinois, everywhere, why did you choose to come to Arkansas State?
Well, it was the right timing. I always say it's God's plan, right? And it was a perfect timing. 17 years, long time, was wanting for some restart, new challenge. And then Amy Holt, right? When I knew that Amy was looking for somebody, and having somebody like Amy be your supervisor, somebody who's going to be the one that's going to be the oversight to your sport. And then also our athletic director, Jeff, coming from Alabama. Alabama, he was the number 2 guy at Alabama. And I knew that he had a big vision, big picture here. He wants to do great things out there. So total combination of that and then opportunity to, again, build a program, again, from scratch here. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I wake up every single morning so fired up, so motivated to get 1% better every single day.
Right. And, I overheard you mentioning before we started the show about how you was at the soccer match last night. How active do you try to be involved with other sporting events around the campus?
Very. I go to every chance I get. I go to the football game, the basketball game. Everything, whatever is out there. It's very important because everybody, we are all tied together. We are in this thing together. Like yesterday, I had Coach Hudson from men's basketball team come and spend about 20 minutes talking to our team. A couple of, weeks ago, I had our track and field coach. He's a legend out here. They have an amazing program. So many resources out here. But I think what I've learned is that the more you give, the more you receive. The more you go out and support people, the more they're going to support you. And I think if you are a giving person, you're going to receive a whole lot. And I want these ladies to receive everything they can because they deserve it. They work so hard. They're great students. And, what else can you want, right? And so, yeah, it's everything has gone the right way here so far.
Right. So if it all ended tomorrow and you said, you know what, maybe the game of tennis isn't for me, I want to take a break, and you retired, what do you think your favorite memory as a maybe coach or player would be?
Wow. Look, it's always amazing to climb the mountaintop and, having won those 4 national championships, right? 2 indoors, 2 outdoors. But honestly, the more you've done this, like me in this journey, it's that journey, it's the accumulation of everything, right? The process, the journey, every single day. I think those relationships, I think that's what I will remember the most. You know, it's not all those championships and the national rankings and all those accolades. I think it's those quality time spent with your student athletes, with your coaches, with your support staff. It's those highs, the lows, it's those the tears, it's the joy, the winning, the losing. I mean, there's so many, highs and lows. But I think, continuing to love it till the end. Look, you talk about retiring. I'm not thinking about retiring. I'm thinking about 20 more years. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do this. Yeah, I love it.
Right. So if there's somebody watching right now that may not be the biggest tennis fan, may not understand the game as much as you do, what would you tell them in order for them to start maybe attending tennis events or just overlooking the sport?
Hey, look, we are the only sport, where you come, we'll feed you. We get food out there for you, right? We have free clinics before matches, after matches. We have, raffle drawing. Hey, you get to come and enjoy amazing tennis, really. You come, you see these kids compete this hard. You come into that environment now where everybody's coming there. It's like an event. It's not just a tennis match. Have some fellowship. Bring some people, catch up on your, on the gossips, enjoy. I want this to be a great event. And that's what this whole thing is all about. It's hey, when there's a tennis match, there's an event out there. And we want to be part of it. And I think that, I think we've kind of got it started now. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
Right.
It's catching on fire very, very quickly here.
Hey, man, I'm all for it.
Let's go.
I'm all for it.
Let's go.
So, and I guess one of my last ones for you, Coach Lama, if there's somebody watching right now, maybe a high school player, collegiate player wanting to transfer over, why would you tell them to come to Arkansas State?
Passion. Tell me, where can you get this kind of passion? And I think, when you have this kind of passion, this kind of energy, this kind of vibration out here, and you're going to come over here and you're going to be the best version of yourself, both on and off the court, and you're going to love it. You're going to have joy. And when you finish your career here, you're going to look back and say, you know what? I have been part of something magical.
Well, Coach, that was great. So I'm a big wrestling guy, and I call that a promo. That was a great cut promo there.
Well, thank you so much. No, just feel the vibration. That's it, right? Feel the vibration, and that's it.
Right. So Saturday, what time does it?
10 a.m. Southern Miss. 10 a.m. Last match, senior day. I want to finish with a bang. I want these 3 seniors to go out with victory, and I can't wait. I can't wait.
So are you a year 0 guy or you're year 1 guy for this year for you?
I am year 1, right? I would say.
Year one?
Yeah.
Well, some coaches, they like to say for year 1, they like to call it year 0, and then they like to call the next year 1.
Hey, look, I don't know if it's 0 or 1, but I will tell you, in all my years of coaching, this has been one of the greatest years of my life. What I have received from this year, from these kids, from everything that we are doing here, it's been one of the most amazing experiences of my life.
Well, Coach Lama, thank you so much for coming on to A-State Connections, talking about the A-State tennis team. And that'll do it for this edition of A-State Connections. Again, I want to thank my guest, A-State's tennis head coach, Sujay Lama. Also want to thank creative media production instructor Dustin Sullivan and his amazing students who are behind the scenes running the show today. Also thanks to Jacob Keene and Timothy Arquette for their help on the show. We also want to thank Jonathan Reeves for his help on each and every episode of A-State Connections. Join us next week for another edition of A-State Connections on ASU-TV. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone.